teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the number, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. Lot of slime. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me. Yeah. Big time. Big time. Big time. Big time. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. Lot of signs. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of crime. It's running over with the dollar signs. Try to take it from me. Big time. I got a lot of shine. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of grind. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. I'm big time. Lot of shine. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me, from me, from me, from me. Big time. Number 9. Diamonds in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. That's a lot of fun. Try and take it from me, must be out your mind.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a Monday edition. It's Christmas week here on the Ysn Power Hour. DJ with you. We got Quinn, we got EB, we got D Ricks, and we got A Mo. None of us actually go by our real names typically on this show, so welcome to the abundance of the fraternity that is your sports network, and welcome to a Monday, December 20th edition of the Ysn Power Hour, where it is National Go Caroling Day. So my question to you, gentlemen, is: I know how beautiful of voices you have. If you had to go caroling, what song would be the song that you sing solo? What song would be the song that you sing solo when you go caroling on this Merry Christmas week? Quinn Pushkar, I've waited all my life for this answer.
Right, Jingle Bells, that's the only one I really know.
Now, would it be the remix version or the straight up version?
Sure, whichever. You give me the beat, I'll sing it.
I'm going to give you the beat for...
That's
can
about
we,
all
Can
I
we
got.
do this?
No. No, I don't sing.
Would it be like Batman Smells Robin Laid an Egg, or would you just sing straight through?
Probably just straight through it.
Come on, man. Sing the Batman Smells.
I'd need to Google lyrics.
One time, Quinn.
Like that's about
One time.
No.
Jingle bells, jingle all.
I think the mic broke, sorry.
That doesn't work when you talk into it. All right, well played. All right, we'll let you off the hook. EB, what song are you caroling?
Tequila. So I can just da.
I guess I didn't say it had to be a Christmas song, did I?
Tequila.
Good point.
All right.
Wow.
Well played. Well played. The loophole. Donnie Riccatelli.
I'd have to go with a little Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, man. I mean, get everybody singing with me. Like, I sing in solo, but like get the crowd to sing back with me. That's positive reinforcement.
And you would belt it out. I mean, if there's anybody that's bringing it, you're bringing
God,
the heat.
it would be so awful.
I would love it.
So awful. No, I can't sing for a lick. My sister took all of the music singing genes of the family she could belt it out like Mariah Carey, but I'm horrendous.
Oh,
Horrendous.
Speaking of Mariah Carey, I would do All I Want for Christmas Is You.
There you
That's
go.
what I would do. Listen, I would just lay it out there. Like, we're going for broke. Amo.
Little drummer boy.
You would do Little Drummer Boy?
Yeah.
Please tell me you do the drummer, too.
Oh, yeah. Gotta keep into it.
Pum, 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 da, 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 da. I think that'd be phenomenal. Amo doing Little Drummer Boy, dressed up as a drummer boy. Be great. Absolutely great. Anthony says, "Where are you, Christmas?" No, Anthony, we're not asking what your favorite Christmas song is. We're asking what you would carol. Where is he? You're gonna carol "Where Are You, Christmas"? Oh yeah. He's full of patootie.
He says he will. Let's him do it.
All right, Anthony, we are requesting a caroling of you singing "Where Are You, Christmas." What do you mean no one's outside carol? Little Drummer Boy's a Christmas carol. Amo had it. Rudolph. Give me a break. Dude gets his own show and thinks that he can belt out Faith Hill. Mariah Carey's one thing. All right, that is your National Day. So happy Caroling Day. So hopefully I've never had people carol at my house. Has anybody?
Yeah.
Have you?
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
I don't know what I would do if they did. Like I'm like a private guy. Like get off my property. Like stand in the street.
It is kind of like an awkward moment, like when they show up and then after they awkwardly sound just as bad as me when they sing. But it's like no. You offer beverages of the adult nature of the adult nature.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So you're not handing out juice boxes.
No, these aren't kids coming to sing. No.
What would you do, EB, if somebody showed up at your front door and started caroling?
Probably have to drink the beverages with them. But I mean, I honestly don't know. Like now, it's making me think: who was the one who thought of like, "Hey, let's just go to random people's houses and start to sing"?
That's like entertainment, right? Like back in the heyday, that was entertainment.
You don't hear about people doing it like the 4th of July or any other holiday. It's just Christmas. Like why don't people just randomly carol? Hey, it's March 13th. Let's go.
Well, they do it around. Technically, I guess you could say Halloween, because they come and ask for candy. Maybe there's something between the two holidays that like they come get your candy and then they come sing for you as form of payment. I don't know. I just have to guess.
Keep the candy. Just keep the candy.
If Quinn had people show up at his house caroling, he would not even answer the door.
Not at all.
No.
No shot.
And he would text somebody in the caroling crowd to go away.
I'd have my sister open the door and tell him get out. Like, get rid of him. Go. Away.
I love it. Welcome to America. It's time for Would You Rather. Excuse me. Still trying to get over this. It's the worst. It's the worst. It's the worst. Because I got my voice back. I hate this cough. I can't get over it. There's
all
nothing.
right. I got something for you. Yes, there is.
Okay.
It tastes really bad. The aftertaste is really bad. But Mucinex now sells and it's for sore throat. They say sore throat, but it's really for your cough. They sell a sore throat drop.
Okay.
At Walgreens. It is life changing.
And it just tries to break up down here.
It just gets you feel so much better. It's stupid how fast it works too.
It's the worst. So I'll be at Walgreens right after the show. Oh yeah, no doubt.
Mucinex.
I apologize for everybody has to put up with my cough both during the games and on the show. So. Oh, look who we got popping in! A little Siggy with the glasses. Hi,
gentlemen.
fella.
What's up? How you doing?
My guy.
What song would you be caroling if you had to go caroling?
Frosty the Snowman.
There we go.
That was a good one. That was fast too.
I like that one.
And secondly, let me ask you this question: what would happen if somebody showed up at you and Shelby's doorstep caroling? Would you
I would probably have to turn away because my instinct would be to laugh uncontrollably at first, and she would just turn to me and say, "Don't."
Well,
And
we
that
know
was,
what happens when people show up to your house and they're trick or treating. You just
I knew that was
don't answer
coming.
the door.
Yeah, thanks.
So, all right, it's time for the Would You Rather, brought to you by Baird Brothers Fine Hard Woods. Visit them on the web at bairdbrothers.com. Super thankful that we have our friends over at Baird Brothers and all our great sponsors on the show, as well as during our games. So the Would You Rather is going to take an interesting twist, because would you rather so how do I put this without coming out being too blunt? Would you rather talk trash and get beat handily, or never be able to be on social media at all? For good, for bad, for indifferent. Would you rather talk trash and get smacked and be able to go back on either after the game or whatever, or not have social media at all to promote yourself, to take away anything? That's the question, because we've seen this a lot in the last probably 6 months. Is the social media trash talk? So that's an interesting question. Can you eat it and have social media? Donnie?
Oh, I definitely would be able to talk the trash and eat it, because listen, I mean, if you're gonna dish it out, you better be willing to take the consequences of that. So I mean, I'm not afraid of anybody or anything. I can say what I want, and if I'm wrong, I'll openly admit that I'm wrong.
You know how to use the oven. Cook it up at a
Oh,
nice
yeah.
375 degrees.
Oh yeah, but you know what? I pick where my trash talking is, though. I'll never talk trash in any of my sporting teams. I'll never talk trash on anything sports related, because I know who my teams are.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. I mean, I'll talk trash on a myriad of other things, but not sports.
And one of the reasons that this comes up is because I heard a story that Najee Harris doesn't talk trash anymore because he got beat so bad. And it was either high school or it wasn't college, because he went to Alabama. He got beat so bad in high school when he did talk trash that he promised himself and all of his teammates and his parents and all that he would never talk trash ever again. So now he plays for the Steelers, where everybody just talks trash on them and jumps on their logo. So, Siggy, which one are you picking?
What's my choices again? Say that. Repeat that.
You can either talk trash and get smacked, or not ever be able to talk trash on social media.
I'd rather just talk trash and get smacked. I'm not much of a trash talker on social media to begin with, so
Okay.
I could take it. If I talk smack, I should be able to back it up. So
Listen, I've seen your Twitter page. You talk a little trash. There's a little trash there.
I'll bash
CSI's
I'll bash the Steelers. But
Yeah, there it is. There it is. Cutting on my team. Amo, which one are you taking?
I'll talk trash and eat it.
Okay. Fair enough. EB?
I don't know. This is tough. I think I just wouldn't say anything, because those people like kind of annoy you. No matter if you're a trash talker and you're getting your butt kicked by someone and they just don't say a word at all, and they just show up and it's a business trip for them day in, day out, and they don't say anything. There's no way. I've lived with the whole, no social media thing, so it's not hard to do. Actually, it probably makes life a little bit easier sometimes. So I'll go no social media.
All right. Quinn, how about you?
I have no idea what we're talking about. I was helping Anthony and was on the phone with Brian.
Would you talk trash? Would you risk talking trash and get smacked by 20? Or would you not talk trash ever because you don't have access to social media?
No, I talk trash all the time. And then if I'm getting smacked by 20, I'm just going to hope to God that I'm playing well.
The best
I'm
smack
talking
talking
trash.
should be done in person, so I would gladly quit social media in order to back up my words.
I'm talking.
That's a good point.
No.
For me, I learned a long time ago, what goes on social media, even if you delete it, cannot always be deleted. somebody screenshots it, somebody whatever. So I try to make sure that I keep my words soft and sweet whenever there's a little bit of trash talk. I might try to outthink you with the trash talking, so you got to dive in a little deeper to see that we're actually talking trash. But I think I would still, at the end of the day, just because of who I am and how I was brought up, I would still do the trash talking and get smacked by 20 and probably still be the guy that's talking after it. You know, we still got 6 Super Bowls. Doesn't matter if we don't make the playoffs. We still, like, that's me. That's me 100%. Doesn't matter. We'll talk about the past so we can talk about the future. So that was your Would You Rather, brought to you by Bear Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Thanks to Scott and whole crew out there at Bear Brothers for making things possible here on YSN, the first ever corporate sponsor of your sports network. Gentlemen, a lot to talk about today, and one of the things we have to talk about, we're leading off the show, and we're just going to ride this like a horse. It is going to be our Week 3 power rankings, because I think these are she's a beaut, Clark. She's a beaut, and I saw EB's post, and I've been saying it's a beaut for a week and a half straight in honor of, and a hat tip to National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. So without further ado, I do have to say this before, because Armidas Kachina has been an awesome sponsor of these power rankings. Make sure you're booking Armidas Kachina for your graduation parties. Listen, if you're looking to make a huge splash at graduation parties, because listen, some graduation parties all have the same food, right? You're talking, Donnie, what is it? Pasta, pizza,
chicken, and pizza.
Okay. Listen, if you're looking for something that's going to mix things up a little bit, you need to go to Armidas Kachina. It's real simple. ArmidasKachina.com. Find them on Facebook. They have a food truck that's constantly out there. It was at Ill Will over the weekend. It was at Birdfish over the weekend. So find them. It is some of the best food you will ever have. Amazing, unique foods, including their famous stuffed hot peppers, delicious chicken sandwiches, and more. They can even bring music to your graduation party, so it becomes not just a graduation party, but a graduation party, if you know what I'm saying. So make sure, book them now, book them often, because I'm telling you, if you're looking for a big splash in somewhere that's not going to break the bank and people are going to be talking about for years to come, book Armidas Kachina for your graduation parties this year. And by the way, it's never too soon to do that, because if you're waiting till May, you're in big trouble. Big trouble. But I digress. This week's Power Rankings brought to you by Armidas Kachina, perfect for your graduation party. If you're looking to make a splash this graduation season, make sure you book Armidas Kachina at armidaskachina.com. Here are your Power Rankings. Canfield stays locked in at number 1, but a flip between 2 and 3 as Salem proves to be too much for too many as they take over the 2 spot. Liberty drops to 3. West Branch stays firm at 4. Then you have Poland staying firm at 5, then followed by Howland, Louisville, Springfield at 8, Brookfield at 9, and breaking in for the first time this season is Waterloo at 6-1, coming in at the number 10 spot. Let's turn it over to the boys now, where there is a little bit of shakeup in the rankings. East Liverpool comes in 6-1 and takes a big hop from number 5 to number 1. Cheney drops to number 2 after a couple tough losses. Campbell Memorial in at 6-1 at number 3. Boardman slides down a little bit to number 4. Ursuline makes their debut at number 5 at 4-2. West Branch stays firm at 4-0 in the 6th spot. Louisville at 7. Springfield at 8. Canfield at 9. And Louisville debuts at number 10 at 6-1. Again, this proudly brought to you by Armidas Kachina, perfect for your graduation parties coming up. Visit them on the web today at armidaskachina.com or follow their food truck on Facebook for where they'll be next. All right, guys, a lot to talk about. A lot. Let's start with the girls. Wow, Canfield, I think this is the 3rd straight week. They've been number 1 in the power rankings. When you look at Salem, doing a little flip with Liberty. Last week, Salem was at 3. This week, they hop over at 2. That win over West Branch has something to do with it, obviously, and then that emphatic win over United got enough people, enough sway in our votes to push Quaker Ann to the 2 spot. Liberty, without losing a game, loses a spot. So we're going to talk about that. West Branch still at the 4 spot. Quickly, let's talk about the top 4 guys. What do you like? What don't you like? You know, from your standpoint, Donnie Riccatelli, Why is Salem so high on your radar right now?
Oh, I mean, honestly, they're the best team we've seen outside of Marlington, who's not on the list. But they do such a great job of controlling not only the defensive and offensive boards, but their guard play is so heavy, and they play as such a good unit. There's not a better team. You know, when you want to talk about what a team means, there's not a better team than Salem right now. And honestly, Liberty losing a spot. Those two teams ahead of Liberty right now, I really feel if they do go head to head, that those two teams are going to have quite the edge on Liberty. So
That's fair. That's fair. And we're adding people throughout the weeks for
Yeah.
this power polling, and it's interesting to see how they continue to stack up. People still think a lot of Canfield. Siggy, when you look at it, I mean, this is a great opportunity for these teams. Canfield has showed up and showed out some of the competition they've played. And then, of course, Salem at number 2, Liberty, and then West Branch. Talk to me about how you like that lineup 1 through 4.
You know, there's not much to argue there. I saw Salem play Saturday and talked to EB yesterday and late in the day on Saturday, and they're impressive. Their motors just don't stop, and that goes to show you on how they can handle West Branch and the way they did it just through the defensive end. I mean, it's just tried and true. It's just instinctive in their motor to not stop. You know, Canfield, their schedule is what it is, and they just don't stop either. You know, they tripped up against Marlington, but so did Salem. So that's a reason why they're that good. Marlington's a good team. And Liberty, what's there not to like about Liberty? They know how to put the ball in the bucket in bunches. I mean, I think they've scored 70 in 4 games this year, and that's hard to do with a running clock in some of those games. So 1 through 4, I would love to see 1 through 4 play tomorrow. I think that would be fantastic.
Amo, from your standpoint, talk to me about how the top 4 ranked, where your opinion lies.
I had Louisville at 4, but I don't really think you could do 1A, 1B, and 1C for Canfield, Salem, and Liberty, in my opinion. I don't know. I watched Canfield and Salem quite a bit. I don't think there's really much between them, but I think Salem edges out Canfield, in my opinion, in that battle. But we'll see coming up, I think, the next week, how that will shake out.
Quinn, from your perspective, talk to me about where the top 4 sits with you.
Yeah, so with me, you know, I had Salem 1, Liberty 2, Canfield 3, and then I think I put West Branch 4. I think, like Donnie was saying, Salem's just overall, I think, the best team right now. Liberty speeds you up and plays a different brand than the other ones. But, I mean, I like what Salem does. And, you know, with talking to Bailey there a lot, you know, the biggest thing that sticks out to me is just the way they create turnovers. They're just unrelentless when it comes to or no, what would it would be relentless, I think, whatever. When it comes to their presses and stuff like that, and seeing Salem play as much as I have and stuff like that, it's impressive to watch.
And EB, we say the best for last. When we talk about this Salem team, you're very much entwined in it, being one of the coaches. Sarah's got a great staff over there, including yourself, but the girls have really stepped up to the plate, making a jump over a team that has no losses this season. Why is it so impactful, and why has this Salem team been able to turn it on after the West Branch game?
It's really kudos to the girls. I mean, they come in, they put in the work, and if you look at, you know, I was thinking about it this morning. Their schedule. I don't think our schedule, we have a team with a losing record on it. So it's not like we played some really, really good competition. But you look at, you know, that Canfield team year in, year out, you know, they're always at the top of things. They're such a well-coached team. You know, I got to watch Liberty a little bit last week against Brookfield. Brookfield kind of gave them a little bit of a scare. And actually, they got into some foul trouble. And they did what good teams do, and they found a way to win. And then West Branch, I'll always have the utmost respect for West Branch. Coach DeShields does a phenomenal job there. It's one of those, Salem West Branch. A lot of times you can throw out that record because it's going to be a battle, and it's not really so much about us. We're fortunate, we're blessed to have great student athletes and the girls that we do, but really they put in the work. So it has nothing to do with me or the coaches or whatnot. What any of us would say, it's very little about what we're doing. It's the work that they put in. So I'm just happy for those girls to, get a little recognition. But nonetheless, we have a big game coming up Wednesday against Carrollton, and Carrollton's record doesn't reflect who they are as a team. That they are a very young and hungry team. So we have our work cut out before anything. And then next week, like Nick said, we get Canfield, which is another great coach team, a very good team. Alyssa Dill is a phenomenal player, and I think who else they have, Sam Marone. She very high motor girl that they just play very good basketball, and their schedule definitely puts them into a spot to where they should be at, and they've been successful with it.
All right, so let's go reverse skate on this, EB. Start with you. Between 5 and 10, who's going to make the biggest jump or the biggest, impact from this week to next?
I think looking at it, Springfield can. I believe they have a big game coming up with United, so we'll see what they will do. And plus, that's a new coach over there, so the more games they get in, the better and better they're going to get. Waterloo, I think, has turned quite a few heads. So I think they can actually make the biggest jump just because they're at the 10. They have the most ground that they can gain. But they've been playing phenomenal, and I think Hallen is pretty even keel. We said a while ago when they were 1-3, their record didn't really reflect of who they were, just because they played a good competition. Hallen is literally 3 or 4 plays away from being a 7-1 team right now. They have truly one loss that they weren't in the game, and that was what I believe it was Maslin Perry or Perry over there from the Federal League. So they're literally 2 or 3 plays away from sitting at 7-1 and very easily could be in that number 1 spot.
Interesting. All right, Amo, talk to me about your thoughts, 5 through 10. Who's going to make the biggest impact this week and slide up the scale?
I think you got Springfield, Louisville, and Howland that all can make a pretty big jump at 5, 7, and 8. But I would think Howland can probably make the biggest one, as I think they're the best team out of that group.
Okay. D-Rix, I know you like some of these teams, 5 through 10. Poland seems to always be there when it counts. Who do you have your eye on?
Yeah, Poland does, but I agree with Howland. Alyssa Pompili is one of those players that we don't talk about enough. I mean, she just always finds a way to get the ball in the hoop, and I think with her really turning it up, and then having Taylor Lawrence and Gia Hoso and coming back from concussion, and Alyssa Masucci, like they're playing really well. The Salvos they're mainly only big right now, which that hurts them a little bit because she's very, very, very foul prone. But if Alyssa Pompili can get hot and find Masucci in a corner, and Masucci can get to the hole, Howland can make some waves. I love Poland. They're extremely well coached. I mean, I said this a few weeks ago on the show about underrated coaches, and Nick Blanche to me is one of the most underrated coaches in the area because he might be respected and talked about in Poland, but outside of the area we never really talk about him much. And he finds a way to get his girls ready week in and week out. They just ran into a buzzsaw that was West Branch, a few weeks back to the United Way Classic. So I definitely think Howland. I love Springfield. JC's. She was coming off of a broken hand to start the year, and they're still 5-1. So they're only going to get better. So I would say Howland and Springfield, which they're both Tigers, by the way.
Siggy, did we miss anybody on this list? Is anybody off that should be on, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think you have a team that's just knocking on the door and champion, is undefeated right now, and they're really putting it on people as well in the MVAC. So I think they're like a sleeping giant in that league right now that nobody's talking about because historically they've been very good. They've lost some players this year, but that Coach Cole's got that team just still moving in the right direction, and that's a really tough champion team that's begging for some attention right now.
I don't disagree with you. Anthony was knocking on the door. Actually, he was pounding on the door of Champion, saying Champion needs to be here. But Waterloo, guys, is the one that's really turned my head. That's the one that's really surprised me because they've been out of there. But you look at this list as it is. The MVAC so well represented on this list. It's really impressive. One of the teams followed off from last week to this week, United, with that tough loss to Salem, and I think it was more of how they lost to Salem that impacted our voters as opposed to just losing to Salem. Because when you're playing within the top 10, yeah, you could shift, but I think there was a lot of frustration with what we were seeing on the floor, and I'm sure Coach Sigler was feeling the same thing. Siggy, you and Amo and I had the pleasure to announce that game, and we were frustrated that at times that wasn't the United team that we're quite used to.
No, let's be real. When you have a good team like Salem, that's where the frustration comes from. And it just, they're doing their job, and they're making life miserable for United. And it just really showed on the faces of those United girls. And you got to tip your cap to the Salem girls that came ready to play. They circled the wagons after the first quarter. And the snowball I talked about on Friday really, really took over in the second period. A couple easy bunnies they missed at the beginning of the second period, and Salem just took the ball and never looked back.
Yeah, we're getting some rumors into the newsroom here that we were excited to see United versus Crestview because I think that was a game that they could get some of their confidence back while still playing a very, very good team. And it sounds like that game is not going to happen, at least for the rumors. So
that's true.
That's tough. That is a very tough one. I hope to goodness that they get that game rescheduled because they need to. Those two teams need to play each other on a more frequent basis because that's two very storied basketball programs that can, iron sharpens iron kind of deal there. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have the Armidas Kachina power rankings for week 3 on the boys. Lots to talk about there because there was a big jump from 5 to 1. Find out who that was when we return right here on the YSN Power Hour, brought to you by these great sponsors.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-2323 3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. A couple breaking news articles here just in the newsroom. LeBray at Brookfield tonight canceled. Has been canceled. That has been confirmed by Tim Taylor, the AD out at Brookfield. And there's another one. Hang tight. It looks like Hamill and LeBray tomorrow has been canceled. So it'll be rescheduled for February 15th at Memorial. So 2 games in the next 24 hours or so have been impacted. So keeping you up to breast on the situation. Again, LeBray at Brookfield done for tonight, and LeBray at Camel done for tomorrow. So just keeping you up to date on that information in case you wanted to take a trip out there and watch some good basketball on either night. All right, gentlemen, let's go to the boys' power rankings. And interesting, East Liverpool sitting at 5 last week, and they jump all the way. So they did something to impress a lot of people on the panel this week as the Potters take over the top spot on the power poll. Cheney slides down from 1 to 2. Camel stays at number 3. Boardman slides from 2 to 4. All right, let's talk about the top. Actually, let's add Ursuline in there because not ranked, and all of a sudden the Irish are in the top 5. Donnie Riccatelli, I know you got something to say about this one.
Yeah, and I apologize to East Liverpool for not ranking them so high early on because I just didn't know enough about them. But they're such a complete team right now. What they did to Warren Harding the other night has been that was unbelievable. They crushed them. So I want to talk about Boardman just a little bit because obviously I'm a Boardman guy, Boardman homer, whatever you want to call me. Boardman might be the best basketball team in this area for 3 quarters. If basketball was over in 3 quarters, they would be the best team, bar none. Every game, all 6 games that they played so far this year, they just find a way to lose momentum, lose ground in the fourth quarter, and they just can't make it up. Last week when they lost to Louisville, they just couldn't make their free throws down the stretch. I think we were 9 of 20, and Louisville was 26 of 29. I mean, there's a difference, in the ball game there. So it's just, I feel so bad for them because they do play really hard. They're such a great team. They just they need to learn how to finish. And again, it's early, it's 6 games in. So, but the schedule doesn't get easy for them. But no knock on Cheney. It would be awesome to see East Liverpool and Cheney match up. I think that would be fantastic to see. Camel, I still had Camel at 3 because I know they lost to Louisville, which Louisville made the list this week finally. But I thought that was a bad loss to Louisville because I think on paper the amount of athleticism that Campbell possesses is should be light years ahead of Louisville. And then Ursuline, when I called the game when Ursuline played Boardman, I kept thinking to myself, this Ursuline team is extremely athletic. They fly up and down the court. They finally are getting their football guys back in basketball shape. I mean, everybody that's played football and basketball, they know there's a major difference between football shape and basketball shape. So Ursuline's going to be that team that continues to climb the rest of the year, I think.
Amo, I'm interested because you do not like Boardman being in that top 5. Explain.
I don't not like it, but I don't know. It is true that they've lost players, but that's kind of hard when you're thinking about teams and then you see their record and you don't necessarily think about that when you're looking at their record that, they've lost guys, which I understand. So if any of these top teams lost the amount of players Boardman has, they probably would have a similar record with the teams they face. It's like I think Louisville gets forgotten about. I did their game against Reserve Friday night, and Reserve I think they have 2 wins, if I'm not mistaken. They haven't lost by a lot, and Louisville blew them out with their size. I was impressed with Vinny, Cologne, and Luceni. Oh my, you want to talk about a big guy that can shoot the three? Louisville can make some sounds. I'd like to see them play Springfield. I think that's where a lot of people will see how good Louisville is when they play Springfield. That's their best game, I think.
I'm interested from your standpoint because you had Louisville at 5 and Ursuline at 6.
Yeah.
What's the reasoning? And not that you need to explain yourself, but I'm just interested how you have one above the other.
I like Louisville and their size with the athleticism. I mean, they probably shouldn't have beat Campbell, but they also shouldn't have lost to Heartland. So you could go vice versa for there too. I just like their size for their division. I mean, they're going to give everybody a lot of hard times. I mean, you got Vinny Malone at 6'5", running the point most times. Good luck guarding that. It's kind of like West Branch with Gregory. If Gregory can get past half court, that's a tough matchup.
Mucinex a stud, and that's that's the heartbeat of Louisville for me. Is
I was sitting with the Louisville guys, and all the Louisville guys. I had two of Louisville guys that film, and they were saying, he can't make a layup, but the guy can make a three. And let me tell you what, there was a stretch there. He couldn't buy a bucket inside, but he shot the deepest three I've seen all year. Drained it, and then looked at the crowd, and of course.
Because you need to look at the crowd when you do that.
Right. But I think he was 4 of 4 from 3, and he had 18 points. So, and he missed probably 5 layups. But, granted, they were all contested. They weren't just
He's a
open
dog
layups,
inside, though. He's a guy that will rip down offensive boards. He will get down and dirty. So
that's like West Branch. I think West Branch losing their game against Hoover Thursday is massive because I don't think anybody really knows how good West Branch is, being that they haven't gotten to play somebody that good yet.
And that's a game that was supposed to be at Mount, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is a tough loss on the schedule.
Because I think they could have. I think they can hang with Hoover. I would have been interested to see if they could beat Hoover. I'm not sure if they could beat Hoover, but I think they could definitely give them a game.
Quinn, the top 5, you like it?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I agree with all of it, honestly. The only one is Ursuline. I could flip Ursuline with a couple, but for the most part, I agree with it. I think the gap between Liverpool and Cheney is bigger than Cheney and Ursuline, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah, Liverpool's just stupid good.
You're saying Liverpool is the far and away number 1 in this poll?
Absolutely. In my mind, it is. Yeah, 100%.
That's bananas. Because, listen, Liverpool, they were 5 last week, and Cheney was 1. What happened between last week and this week?
Liverpool beat. Okay, so you got to look at opponents too, though, Deej. Liverpool crushed Warren Harding.
Yeah.
Warren Harding almost was a foot on the line 3-pointer away from tying Cheney at Cheney.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So you have to just say, look, you got when especially into week 3 now, opponents mean such a big difference. That's why Canfield is sitting at number 1 on the girls' side because of how bad they beat West Branch and Salem beat West Branch by a layup at the end with 7 seconds to go. So those are, you got to look at that stuff. Now by the end of the year, I feel like Salem and the girls are going to be number 1. But right now that's where the cookie crumbles. But East Liverpool crushing Warren Harding. That team's no joke. Harding is no joke, and they crushed them.
Siggy, from your standpoint, just a scan 1 to 10, what stands out to you? What do you like? What don't you like?
I think Springfield's at 8 based on name recognition. Unfortunately, their schedule doesn't blow you away with who they've defeated so far this year. They're going to get it tested tomorrow because Louisville is tomorrow, which is great for Louisville. So I think Louisville probably should be ahead of them on the rankings right now. They beat Campbell Memorial, and that's far and away better than anything Springfield's done yet this
Somebody's
year.
not going to be there next week. I'm just going to say it right now. I just have a guess that one of those 2 teams will not be on this ranking next week.
And to back up the point with East Liverpool is they have size on that team and athletes that can play at the guard position and the post position. Cole Daly, and he was up for Big Dogs last week, is a name to remember. This kid can handle the ball out top and take it to the rim and jump with the best of them, and they got a kid named Xavier Green who's just unreal underneath, so and I think the way they handled Harding compared to Cheney, and I think it comes down to one word, is discipline too. East Liverpool's probably more of a disciplined team on that floor down at Potter Fieldhouse than at Cheney, because anybody that watched that Cheney Harding game, it was a circus atmosphere. So I think Quinn's right. It's Liverpool, if they get there, they're unreal.
Absurd. And their only loss came to a team with 3 or 4 D1 kids.
Lincoln Park.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
3
at
D1
Lincoln
kids at Lincoln Park, who's
at Lincoln Park. That's right.
They've won like 14 straight district titles or something like this. It's just, they're absurd too.
Yeah, they have like 3 kids with D1 offers. So
Kane,
their loss isn't a bad loss. I don't know what the gap is for Liverpool and Cheney and Ursuline, because I feel like Cheney, Ursuline, some of these teams have the athletes that can match up with the Liverpool. But Sig said it best. Liverpool is disciplined, and I was watching their 5th grade team yesterday, and I was like, I don't think there's high school teams that run the floor like this 5th grade team does, and it's just, they have a system, they have a tradition, and they have a good, a good chemistry of, they have people who can fly down to 4, they have people who can fly above the rim, they have a good chemistry of, everything. So I don't know what the gap is. I haven't been able to see some of these teams, but from the ones that I have been able to see, I would definitely agree. Liverpool is hands down definitely the number 1 boys team in the area right now.
And I got to give shout out Nate Conley, my guy out at the Liverpool, doing a great job. He's just continuing to churn out great prospects out in Potter Country. And Tommy Pease, nobody happier than Tommy Pease when those padded blue chairs are filled up at the Potter Fieldhouse. So if you haven't been able to see him.
If I can make one comparison, when you talk about a program and a system, is like talking Salem girls basketball and East Liverpool boys basketball. There's just something in the water with those 2 programs that it just goes. And if you put on that jersey, there's an expectation and a bar that is just, it's so high that you got to keep working to get there.
Well, I would say Southern Columbiana County, so you would know.
I would say West Branch. Yeah. Walt does such a nice job with West Branch, and I don't know, Amo, I don't know what you guys do over there, but like, do you breed people under 5'10"?
I think so.
I
grew up with Trimmer. I mean,
under 5'5".
I dated Trimmer for a while.
Yeah. Okay. Well, she was 5'8", and she was one of the best point guards in the state.
I'm not going to say it publicly, but she beat me 1-on-1 a couple of times.
Hey, I got news for you.
You just said it publicly.
later.
Yeah, true.
No, that's all interesting. And listen, again,
Walt
talk to me about, while we wrap this up, let's talk about tradition. From a team standpoint, Siggy, we'll start with you, because you said when you put a jersey on in an East Liverpool, a Salem, any of these schools, there is a tradition, there is an expectation of to uphold when you put that jersey on. Talk about the pressures of that, and where does it start and where does it end?
I don't know if there's pressure. I think those kids in those communities welcome it. And they can't wait to put that jersey on. I mean, they just I'm so familiar with East Liverpool because growing up with Beaver Local that that the tradition down there is just sickening good. If you ever have a chance to go to a game there, you'll understand what I mean. It's just they have their pep band in the stands, and the players are standing in the tunnel waiting on this song called "The Horse" to get geared up, and it gets geared up, and they do the same warm-up routine that they've done for probably close to 30 years. The exact same one that Coach Conley played for Nick Alloy back in the early 2000s, late 90s, and it's the same. Everything's the same, and it's unbelievable.
The Horse. I'm gonna have to remember that because I love that song. I if you watch it, you'll listen, and it's one of those songs that catches in your head. And it'll play for like 7 days in a row.
I hate it because I can remember going down Listen. We took the floor with Beaver Local, and you walked into that place, and it was nothing. Because growing up at the old school at Beaver Local, it was like a box.
Yep.
And you go down to Potter Fieldhouse, and when you're a sophomore and you step on that floor for the first time, you're just like, holy moly, what is going on here? And it's something you don't forget, and you really appreciate it.
Donnie, talk to me about traditions of excellence and what it means to put on some of the jerseys that we have in this area.
Well, listen, I graduated from McDonald, and McDonald is all about tradition. I mean, it's so funny. Like all these schools, I see like they pick a word of the year. You know what I mean? Like, or like what's the motto going to be on the back of this shirt or that shirt for this sport or that sport? And McDonald has always had tradition continues. Tradition continues, and like I love the fact that I grew up in a 1 square mile village. And we used to go and kick everybody's rear end wherever we would play. Didn't matter who we played. I could care less if somebody was 6'5". If I was guarding somebody 6'5", I welcomed it because he thought I was going to be nothing. You know what I mean? So I I just to this day that's where I got my competitive nature, and that's what I instilled the competitiveness in Mackenzie especially. But it's just like these schools that have such strong traditions, they're the ones that are always going to be successful because, like Chris said, it's not a pressure thing. They welcome that stuff. They're bought into the program when they're in middle school or elementary school, even when they're going to the games and they have youth leagues and all that fun stuff. Like some of these schools, though, which is sad, there are still a lot of schools that are still trying to find their identity. And you're never going to get a consistent, winning culture when you're always searching for something. You know what I mean? West Branch doesn't have to search. Salem girls don't have to search. East Liverpool does not have to search. McDonald doesn't have to search.
That's an interesting take because we so many times in not only just from school standpoint, but from a business standpoint, from just us individuals, we're always looking at our neighbor's lawn and the grass is always greener, right? Instead of just focusing on what we have in our school district and our system on our team. Do you think it's easier just to look over there and be like, well, we'd have 3 more wins if we had this person or that person or the other person, but we have this?
Hey, like I said, I grew up in a 1 square mile village. That's what we had.
Yep.
And we still won. So it's you have to buy into the program. You have to be 100% committed and bought into whatever you do. And I think I used to tell the girls, when I coached all the time, if you can commit and be 100% dialed into this sport right now, I understand you're multi-sport athletes and JO volleyball wants to tug you during basketball season and there's hitting on Wednesday nights for softball. They want you to head over there for that. And soccer, for some reason, decides that they want to be all year round no matter what. They could care less about anybody. But like honestly, it's like if you can be 100% committed to your team right now, you're going to find success, and that's where it's at with me is the commitment. Being committed and working your tail off each and every day, and especially at practice.
EB put a bow on this for us. Being that you're a huge part of the Salem program and the success that they've had in the last couple of years, talk to me about what you're seeing from the foundational standpoint with these young little girls all the way up until they're seniors in high school.
Well, in order to have that tradition, you have to have a culture, and that's a huge thing. Coach Hamilton's very big on our culture. She does a phenomenal job. You guys probably see us post stuff. We're doing Thanksgiving dinners. We're doing team dinners. Just stuff to where it can keep us together. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's times in practice where we have girls who will go after each other. Like it gets competitive. But that's what you want. Even if they do, they know right afterwards. As soon as that drill is done, it's all love. It's a family feel, and you see it. Liverpool boys, West Branch girls. You could probably name at least 15 to 20 programs in this area. Poland girls. No, everyone said Poland girls were going to be nothing this year because Grisdale graduated. you want to talk about tradition and the culture. Nick Blanche has created that, and he has a system behind it. You create that culture, and you get these younger girls to start to believe in it, and they understand, like, we have a big sister, a little sister program to where each high schooler gets a middle schooler, and it's awesome because they go to games and they make each other treat bags, and high school girls will come into the locker rooms and there's boxes full of stuff for them, and that's just incorporating everyone, and we do these little kid camps on Saturdays on our game days. We put aside some of our shoot arounds so we can work with our third, fourth, fifth, and sixth graders, and it's because we want them to be excited about it. And also, what a lot of these high school girls don't realize is, they love a fourth grader loves a LeBron James or a Diana Taurasi, but that's almost a figure that they'll never touch. When you have a fourth grader or a third grader who has a direct hero in, say, an Abby Davidson, that's a real thing. And that's where those little girls want to sit there and be like that, or they want to be like a Mackenzie Riccatelli or a Sophia Gregory, or, or a Trevor Sifke. It just goes down the line to where it breeds within itself of creating a culture. And that's really what it comes down to.
Well, there's putting a bow on it, and then there's EB just absolutely lacing it. Nice job, my friend. That was an awesome, awesome tie-up. All right, boys, you know what it's time for. It's time for the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by our great friends over at Dickey Electric. Visit them today at DickeyElectric.com. Anything commercial, residential, anything electrical you need to get sparked, to go and talk to our friends at Joe Dickey Electric. Again, DickeyElectric.com. Amo, you want to start us off there, Kenny Lofton?
That's my expectation. It's a positive spark. Being on the show today, talking basketball, get your juices flowing to realize how many good boys and girls teams we have in the area that, we can have a discussion like this where people obviously have different opinions, but where it just goes to show how many good teams we got in this area that, our 10th is probably good for other areas, number one, right? So positive spark for that.
Attaboy. Siggy.
I'm going to piggyback on that and go negative, though. We're right in the height. Basketball's rolling. Everybody's feeling good, seeing good teams play good competition. This damn COVID is causing postponements now again, and it sucks.
Yeah.
And hopefully these kids can still make these games up later, and these administrators try their hardest to reschedule the games, because the kids are the ones missing out if they don't. So negative postponements due to COVID.
Dawn Father.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to piggyback off of Sig because, not being able to see two games, Saturday's game got canceled and Wednesday's game is going to get canceled, which would have been Mackenzie's 16th birthday. So she was ready to put on a little bit of a show for her birthday. But, those games are going to be made up. But I am glad that Quinn was able to suck me in and get me to call a game for boys tomorrow. Because I thought I was going to be without basketball this week. And I don't know, this time of year, a week without basketball is like, I don't know, it's so depressing. So I get to go call the McDonald Jackson Milton boys game tomorrow and see what kind of growth the Blue Devils have had since I saw them early on in the year.
Oh boy. Q, what do you have?
Positive spark me. I did my job finally.
Attaboy!
Can't get fired this week. Let's go.
No, you're on a streak, buddy.
I'm right.
What about your Browns? What about your Browns?
I don't want to talk about them.
Okay.
No. Tomorrow.
All right. Let's go, EB.
I feel like I need to piggyback off everyone else. Even with Christmas coming up, there's some good holiday tournaments. I know what Salem has one. There's a couple good girls tournaments. So with the rest of the guys, I'm just hoping COVID stays away, people stay healthy. Outside of that, happy birthday, Kens. Tomorrow, your dad will buy you extra gifts.
That's a given.
I love it. Along with that, my favorite time of the year is right now. People can talk about football all they want, but when you have holidays and just Christmas unlike any other, and the amount of basketball games, ladies and gentlemen, that we have on this network here, not just tonight, but tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday. And we got game on Sunday from Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. We have you covered. So listen, get fat, get lazy, and get excited because we got you here on the network from pillar to post all week long, going right into 2022. And Quinn, did I see on the board there 2,500 events we will have covered this year from January 1st of this year to December 31st?
Yep, more than that.
My goodness, that is what you call a beginning of a dynasty, ladies and gentlemen. We are so proud of those numbers and so proud that you give us the opportunity to do it. And we're going to blow it up even more in 2022 and then 2023, and just keep expecting more, keep wanting more, because these guys right here all around, we're going to give you more. And then we got about 30 other guys. We're like the damn Avengers, okay? We just keep coming out of portals and giving you basketball and baseball and softball and all the other games. We have bowling on right now on the network. Get to it. Quit watching us, because we're going to do the same thing. That's going to do it for our show today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow, 3 to 4, right here on your sports network. See ya.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network.